Welcome to The Explainer. I am so excited to guide you through today's deep dive because, honestly, the data from August 7th, 2026 is wild. We're breaking down a world in constant motion that is suddenly shifting in entirely unexpected directions. From the global economy all the way down to the Earth's very core, things are moving in ways almost nobody predicted.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're looking at markets rising on job shocks, global alliances, and domestic tensions, AI revenue and new regulations, science breakthroughs, and we'll wrap things up with culture, sports, and extreme weather.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Markets Rise on Job Shocks. It's the classic bad news is good news paradox.
So check this out. The U.S. unexpectedly shed 23,000 jobs in July. The consensus was calling for a gain of anywhere from 80 to 95,000 jobs. Plus, the previous 2 months were just revised down by a combined 103,000 jobs. It paints a pretty clear picture, right? A weakening labor market. Yet, in stark contrast, Wall Street completely ignored the memo. The S&P 500 didn't panic. It actually rallied and hit a fresh intraday record high. So why on earth did the market celebrate terrible labor data?
Well, it all comes down to this number right here. 42%. That represents the suddenly collapsed odds of a September Federal Reserve rate hike. Before this jobs report dropped, the market had priced in about a 58% chance of a rate hike. Now, it's down to 42%. Wall Street essentially looked at this bad data and bet that it's going to force the Fed to back off on interest rates. And this massive repricing didn't just boost stocks, Treasury yields dropped, and gold actually surged to a 7-week high.
But underneath that market rally, a really deep fracture is emerging in the corporate landscape. Look at the major employers, Walmart, Amazon, FedEx. They are leading a wave of layoffs across more than 17 companies just this month. And this ties directly into the labor force participation rate slipping to 61.4%, which is the lowest we've seen since early 2021, as over 250,000 workers exited the labor force in July alone. For investors, though, it's strictly about the bottom line. You've got the trade desk cratering 21% after missing Q2 revenue, while on the flip side, Halozyme surged 17% after completely blowing past estimates with a 48% earnings beat. It really is a tale of two economies right now.
Moving along to Section 2, Global Alliances and Domestic Tensions. Let's look at these shifting power dynamics.
Zooming out to the global stage, the Middle East is fundamentally restructuring its security alliances amid all the ongoing conflicts. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan just signed the Mecca Joint Defense Pact. This is a massive trilateral agreement. The absolute most critical language in this pact, it dictates that an attack on any one of these nations is considered an attack on all three. At the exact same time, Iran and Oman have agreed on a technical framework regarding the Strait of Hormuz, pending final senior leadership approval. Notably, Iranian media is reporting that this proposed deal explicitly seeks to bar U.S. and Israeli vessels from passing through. The geopolitical ripple effects here are huge.
Meanwhile, pivoting back here at home, the domestic political landscape is experiencing its own rapid shifts today. First, a Senate panel voted to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress after he repeatedly invoked the Fifth Amendment. And second, President Trump signed 2 new executive orders aimed at tightening restrictions on birthright citizenship. We're just impartially tracking these developments as part of the broader national shifts unfolding today.
Now, I want to highlight a really dire humanitarian metric, 4,000. That is the number of infected individuals in the fastest-growing Ebola outbreak the Congo has ever seen, which has already claimed over 1,800 lives. The World Health Organization is warning that the virus is spreading faster than they can track it. And to make a terrible situation even more critical, frontline nurses and health workers in the hardest-hit regions are actually walking off the job right now. They're reporting that the government has left their wages completely unpaid since this outbreak began back in May.
Let's shift gears over to technology. Section 3, AI revenue and new regulations. We're officially moving from hype to establishment.
If you've been following the AI space, you know the regulatory landscape in Europe is shifting incredibly fast. As of August 2nd, the EU AI Act's transparency obligations are officially legally enforceable. Basically, if you're running a chatbot, it absolutely must explicitly identify itself as AI. And listen to this, penalties for non-compliance can hit up to 7% of a company's global revenue. That is a massive financial threat. Looking ahead on the timeline to December 2027, that's when the much heavier rules regarding high-risk systems, like AI used in hiring, credit decisions, and infrastructure, will finally kick in.
So with those high stakes in mind, big tech is hyper-focused on accelerating AI revenue. Microsoft is literally reshaping its ecosystem to do just that. Step 1, by the end of 2026, they're merging their consumer, GitHub, and Cowork Copilot products into one single unified app. But step 2 is where the monetization really scales. They're introducing a new premium tier called Autopilot. It's designed to handle unattended background tasks while you aren't even looking, things like calendar scheduling and email summarization. It's a very clear signal that AI is pivoting from a cool gimmick to an embedded, paid utility.
And of course, with massive revenue comes massive friction. The boardroom brawls are heating up. Apple just scored an early legal win against OpenAI in an incredibly fierce lawsuit over alleged stolen trade secrets. A federal judge actually granted Apple an injunction to expedite discovery, basically forcing OpenAI to hand over documentation. But OpenAI is not taking this quietly. They published a detailed rebuttal calling Apple's claims false information, strongly denying they possessed or even want Apple's confidential materials. The whole AI sector is maturing, and the legal battles are definitely reflecting that.
All right, Section 4, Science Breakthroughs and Shifts, Unlocking Deep Mysteries.
We are seeing some absolutely massive leaps in our understanding of human biology and psychology today. First off, the FDA just officially approved Moderna's mRNA-based flu vaccine. This is an absolute milestone. It's the first mRNA flu shot authorized for the market, proving this technology is moving well beyond COVID and is set to reshape the entire vaccine industry. Meanwhile, in an extreme test of human psychology, researchers wrapping up a 10-month isolation study down in Antarctica found something super counterintuitive. The crew didn't just struggle with loneliness, they struggled with overexposure to each other. Frequent contact actually directly correlated with greater tension. And why does this matter? Because it gives us essential insights into the psychological hurdles we're going to face when planning long-haul missions to Mars.
Speaking of biology, check out this incredible number, 43 minutes. In a recent 28-person study, researchers found that a simple, new wearable sleep patch helped users reach REM sleep a staggering 43 minutes faster. Not only that, it extended their total REM duration by about 16 minutes. What's revolutionary here is that it requires absolutely no medication, no invasive procedures, just a patch on the skin that somehow optimizes your deep sleep cycle. I mean, sign me up for that.
Okay, I find this next point absolutely fascinating and frankly a little mind-bending. Geophysicists just reported that Earth's molten iron inner core has abruptly reversed its rotation direction deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. It is a dramatic, total shift in our planet's interior. And the craziest part? If you ask scientists why this happened, they'll tell you they currently have absolutely no idea. A literal planetary mystery happening right beneath our feet.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, Culture, Sports, and Extreme Weather. The everyday impacts.
We're seeing record-breaking wealth shifting hands across culture today. In the NFL, the Detroit Lions just backed up the truck for Jahmyr Gibbs, making him the highest-paid running back in league history with a massive 3-year, $75.75 million deal. Over in the media space, Disney Plus and DAZN have jointly snatched up the French broadcasting rights for La Liga Soccer, ending a 14-year run for beIN Sports. It's just another huge shift of premium live sports over to the streaming giants. And perhaps most surprisingly, LinkedIn is officially turning into a highly lucrative creator economy. Top creators on the platform are now pulling in up to $500,000 annually from brand partnerships, and the total number of creators there has doubled in just the last few years.
Now, if you are stepping outside this weekend, please be prepared for some serious extremes depending on where you live. Widespread heavy rain and thunderstorms are sweeping from the southeast all the way up through New England, carrying a very serious risk of localized flash flooding. Meanwhile, the western U.S. is absolutely baking under excessive heat, and it's being made so much worse by wildfire smoke from 3 major blazes near Spokane, which is heavily reducing air quality. And if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, brace yourself. You are locked under a brutal heat index of 103 to 107 degrees with zero meaningful chance of rain.
So, as we conclude this explainer, I really want you to step back and think about how these profound economic, geopolitical, and scientific reversals we've covered today are going to impact our world come Monday morning. We have that massive Iran-Oman Strait of Hormuz framework still pending approval. We have the critical July CPI inflation report dropping on August 12th, which is going to either confirm or completely shatter the market's new vibe on interest rates. The rules of the game are shifting rapidly. How will you navigate the new board next week? Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next explainer.